In Greek mythology, the Amazons were a race of female warriors, often depicted as skilled hunters, riders, and warriors who challenged the dominance of men in battle. The Amazons were celebrated for their martial prowess, often described as equals to men in battle. They were depicted as skilled hunters and equestrians, crucial for their nomadic lifestyle and warfare. Their society was typically portrayed as all-female, raising only daughters and returning sons to their fathers, with whom they would briefly socialize for reproduction. While largely a product of myth, some scholars suggest that the Amazon stories may have been influenced by reports of real-life nomadic and warrior women in regions like Scythia and the Black Sea. The Greeks placed the mythical Amazon capital Themyscira in Pontus, on the southern coast of the Black Sea, modern-day Turkey. That's not far from where the Hittites, Phrygians, and Lydians lived, all civilizations that likely influenced Greek culture. Artemis, goddess of the hunt and wild nature, was heavily associated with Amazonian ideals and worshipped in Anatolia long before the classical Greeks. Some scholars believe Amazon stories came from matriarchal or warrior-based societies in Anatolia, perhaps mixed with memories of real conflicts with tribes where women fought alongside men. The Amazon myth is probably a fusion of multiple traditions. Scythia, real female warriors on horseback, nomadic society. Libya, Nubia, ancient queens and female generals, matriarchal power. Anatolia, goddess worship, Artemis, matriarchal echoes. Phoenicia, Egypt, intermediaries passing African tales to Greece. Greek name Amazon may even come from a Scythian word or an Iranian root. The Greek etymology amazos, without a breast, is likely a back formation or folk myth. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus and others wrote about African Amazons, specifically in Libya, Ethiopia, and Nubia. One tradition places a race of warrior women in ancient Libya, long before the Scythian connection. Some scholars think these stories came from contact with Berber tribes or Nubian queens. Candaces of Nubia, Kushite queens, led armies and fought off Roman expansion. The Meroitic kingdom had powerful queens like Amanirenas, who were described as fierce, commanding, and militant. The Libyan Amazons may represent an older African root to the story, passed along through Egyptian and Phoenician intermediaries into Greek lore. Welcome back to In Search of Tontonteac. We have already looked at some linguistic similarities from the Spanish, French, and German. Is there any linguistic evidence of African to American place names? Kivira, possibly tied to Qibla, Arabic for direction of worship. That would indicate a holy city, matching accounts of Kivira as wealthy, sacred, and gold-rich. Sevilla, Cibola, may relate to Seba, which means oasis or wadi. It also resembles Sufala, a major gold trading port in East Africa. Both are legendary for gold. Aksa, similar to Aksum, the Ethiopian capital of an ancient kingdom with a trade empire, or possibly Aswan in Egypt. Chuchu, Chu in Mande can refer to interior or center, like heartland. In an earlier video, we discussed that the name California is widely believed to come from the early 16th century Spanish novel Las Sergas de Esplandian, where California is an island ruled by the Black Amazon queen Calafia. The name was likely influenced by the Arabic word Khalifa, caliph, meaning ruler or successor, which does tie to North African Islamic influence, especially Moorish Spain. So, while California isn't African, the title Calafia Khalifa may be. Too many architectural similarities between. West African mud brick mosques, for example Jennah, and the adobe housing of the Pueblo cultures, Mayan stepped pyramids, and the mounds in Cahokia and across the Mississippi, all of use. Orientation to the stars, layered cosmology, female maternal earth deities. These may be not coincidences, but cultural remnants from a shared or traded spiritual system, with the Amazons as its spiritual keepers. Brazilian tribes like the Arawete and Kamayura tell stories of dark-skinned warrior queens who came from the east. Mound builder DNA, for example, in Poverty Point and Adena sites, has shown non-Asian haplogroups, including some matches with North African and Near Eastern genes. The idea of women-led societies is often treated as legend yet. Berber tribes had powerful women rulers. Igbo and other West African societies had strong female institutions. Mound builder traditions in North America often revered a female lineage, especially in Mississippian culture. See Spider Woman, clan mothers. In South America, the Mosetan and other groups in the Amazon region recognize female leadership and warfare roles. Maybe the Amazons were real, not in the Greek sense, but as matrilineal spiritual leaders, keepers of sacred knowledge, priestly castes among mound builders, guardians of a legacy long buried under dirt, denial, and rewritten history. The myth of the Amazon may not be myth at all. It may be the echo of a real spiritual lineage spread across oceans and buried in mounds, pyramids, and oral tradition. If ancient navigators did reach the Americas, if their presence is etched into stone, language, and memory, then why does it feel like these truths have been erased? Who was really here first? In 1888, John Wesley Powell, head of the Bureau of Ethnology, issued a quiet decree. Any evidence of pre-Columbian contact that didn't fit the savage Indian narrative was to be deemed illegitimate. Artifacts, structures, and oral histories, all dismissed, buried, or ignored. This wasn't about evidence, it was about control. And what history did we rewrite when we forgot the mothers of civilization? And if Powell's words shaped a century of silence, then maybe it's time we started listening to the voices he tried to silence.